Well, for more than 100 years, the Boy Scouts have been a pillar of American life, but today they're gone. They disappeared. The Boy Scouts of America announced it'll be changing its name to Scouts BSA to reflect its decision last fall to admit girls into the program. Girl Scouts, I don't think, are admitting boys. The organization is also launching a new ad campaign intended to appeal to both sexes. The tagline is "Scout Me In," which maybe not surprisingly sounds like one of Hillary Clinton's many campaign slogans. Author and columnist Mark Steyn joins us tonight for a post-mortem on the death of an American institution. This feels, Mark, kind of like a watershed moment. Maybe I'm overstating its importance.
I don't think you are, Tucker. One of the interesting things is that Boy Scouts were so universally presumed to be good that the very name became a synonym for being the good guy.
That's right.
2 years ago, the first time any of us had heard of James Comey, 90% of columnists and commentators said, oh, James Comey is renowned in Washington as a Boy Scout. That's what it meant, the good guy. And the genius of the left is that in Nothing Flat, they turned the good guys into the bad guys. I remember going to the Democrat convention in Los Angeles in the year 2000, and some scouts came out bearing the flag, and the Democrats on the floor booed. And I thought, my God, these guys are crazy. They're booing Boy Scouts. Well, shortly after the decision in the 90s not to have gay scoutmasters, they got kicked out of church halls. Companies like Disney said that their employees could no longer give the charitable donation through Disney to the Boy Scouts. Basically, the good guys were turned into the bad guys. And that's why they rolled over on transgender scouts, they rolled over on Girl Scouts, and now they've driven a stake through the heart of the institution, and it is dead.
It's happening on a larger stage. Because Harvey Weinstein was a pig, the rest of us have to stand back and not say anything as masculinity is criminalized. But something's lost in that, I think. Anyway, I want to ask you about this. I want to ask you, that's making me so depressed that I got to move on to something happy. I'm sorry. I was never even in the Boy Scouts. It's one of the last wholesome, at least in my mind, places for boys. So, like, where else do they go?
I was a lousy Boy Scout, Tucker, so you couldn't have been worse than me.
I was not impressive enough to be a Boy Scout. I was slouch-shouldered and long-haired, but I always admired them. Anyway, Nancy Pelosi, on a happier note, says she's sticking around. On Tuesday, the 78-year-old Democratic leader says she plans to run again for Speaker if the Democrats win the House, and they may. Republicans love this idea, by the way. Democrats are terrified. But here's my question. Why are Democrats so afraid of Nancy Pelosi? They don't want her as Speaker at all, but none of them will say that to her because she holds this mystical power over them. Why?
Well, I think that's what's incredible. I mean, she's said things that would take out any normal politician. You know, we have to pass the bill so you can find out what's in it. She's in favor of open borders, and yet at the same time she's in favor of mandatory contraception use so that no Americans who are already here have any children. She's a mass of contradictions and inane statements, but unlike Republican leaders, she's a ruthless operator. And you're going to, if you're a Democrat and you run up against Nancy Pelosi, it's not going to work out too well for you. She's serious, and she's telling them, back off, because when we win in November, I'm going to be the Speaker. Don't get in my way.
That is absolutely a mass of contradictions and inane statements. But as the daughter of the mayor of Baltimore, she knows how to count votes, and she's tough.
Right.
And toughness in the end is decisive. I think you're absolutely right. And also, don't you think it's sort of a measure of how weak a lot of Democratic members are, that they're afraid of a 78-year-old former Speaker?
Oh, well, actually, compared to a lot of people on the Democrat side, she's actually a young whippersnapper. You shouldn't be ungallant, Tucker. Bernie Sanders is... You said the Boy Scouts were 108 years old. I think Bernie Sanders was one of the original members back in whatever it is, 1910. So compared, she is a beautiful young thing compared to most of the Democrats.
I think Bernie was a young pioneer, for the record, but whatever.
That's right.
One last thing. In a speech to high school,
we will make America great again.